Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm glad in meeting you in another interesting video on this Python beginner tutorial series. In our previous video, we spoke about, in our previous part 1 of this Python operators video, we spoke about arithmetic operators, assignment, comparison, basically the first three items here. But I said like I would cover the remainder four in the following videos. So in this video, I will cover the next three operators: logical, identity, and membership operators. The reason I have left bitwise as a separate video is because it might be bitwise might be a little confusing, and it has a little vast topic as well. So I've added a few more examples to explain it in detail. So I will cover it as a separate video. For now, we will just focus on these three operators like logical operators, identity operators, and membership operators. Right. So let's now jump on to what is logical operators in Python. So logical operators in Python are these three, like we have and, or, and not. Okay. So this is like a regular our now if you have used now if you have learned logical operation in your computer science in your 11th or 12th standard, this is something very similar easy this is similar to that, right? So whenever there are two things matching, when there are two true statements, then obviously it will return true. So when you have one and zero, then it will return true in case of or. If you know not as just the opposite of what you have achieved on the actual condition. Okay, so maybe let's see a detailed example of how you can use this or operate and or and not operator in Python, right? So let me go to my PyCharm to give you an example. So okay, so let's have x equal to 3, right? So let me write let me write a condition called if x is greater than 3 and x is greater than x is lesser than 9, then print x is in range. Okay, print x is in range, right? Else it is not in range. Print x is not in range, right? So maybe I will put 5 here. Run. Yeah, now if you look at this example, like I've used an AND operation here. So it means, yeah, I'm expecting I to combine both logical operations. So AND is generally used to AND or not is generally used to compare both logical operations. In this case, x is greater than 3, and if x is greater than 3 and x is lesser than 9, so I'm printing x is in range. So here if I change the value to 3, sorry 2, it is obviously not in range, so it will print x is not in range. But our focus is not on the actual print statement, our focus is only on the AND operation. So AND operation is generally used to combine both values. Similarly we can use OR as well. So or this time if you look at this, it gives, because I've used or operation, so it says x is in range. So if because here at least one condition is satisfied here, because x is less than 9 and x is actually not greater than 3, but our single condition is satisfied here, x is less. So here at least one condition is satisfied, so my or operator enters into this print statement. So maybe let me explain difference between and or. So here in and, if you look at this and operation, so we have one value of x equal to 2, whereas my if condition x is greater than 3 and x is lesser than 9, but I need both these conditions to be satisfied in my if condition, only then it will go into my print statement, or else it will go into my else statement. So obviously both the conditions are not satisfied here because x is obviously not greater than 3. So obviously x is not greater than 3, so it did not go into my if condition, it actually went into my else condition. So what it means is either of these statements should be true, but obviously not true here. But in case if I make this value to 4, in this condition both these values become true. So this is how AND operation works. If we change it to OR again, if at least any one of the element, any one of the value is true, then it will satisfy my if condition and it will go and print the statement. Here in this example, both my conditions are true. So like if x is also greater than 3 and x is lesser than 9. So obviously I will make this as x less than 3, which is not, because but it is lesser than 9. So obviously one condition is satisfied, so it will go into this if condition. Whereas if I change this to x greater than 9, it will go into x is not in range, because x is not lesser than 3 nor greater than 9. So obviously both the condition is not satisfied. So it is going to print x is not in range. So I hope you understood how AND and OR operator works. In simple words, and for AND operation, both the conditions should be satisfied, whereas for OR operation, either of the conditions should be satisfied. Right? So, and final operator is NOT. So NOT is just the opposite of what you want to do. So if not, so here it will now, if you look at the previous output, it is x is not in range. Now if I use a NOT operator, it will print x is in range. It's basically the vice versa of the actual condition. So it is the negation of the actual condition. So if you want, if you have this kind of situation anywhere else, then you can use the NOT operator as well. Right. So this is all about Python logical operator. And moving on, Python identity operator. So identity operator is again something very specific and important in Python. So identity operators are generally used to compare the object, not if they are equal, but if they are actually the same object with the same memory location. And so now let's look into an example to understand this very clearly. All right. So if you look at the description here, returns true if both the values are the same object. So if kindly look at this, if it says same object. So object in the sense, okay, let me go to PyCharm and write you an example, and then probably you will have a better understanding. So let me say let I have x equal to say 3 comma 4 comma 5 and y equal to say I have 3 comma 4. Now I have another value called z equal to x. So these are my three values. All right, x, y, and z. Now what I'm doing is I'm just printing x is z. Now if I run this, it returns me true, because if you look at it, x and z are same because both the values are same. So obviously it returns a boolean value true because the actual condition is matching. What's the definition we saw? Returns true if both the variables are same object. Okay, so obviously both are same object here, so it returned me true. Now I'm going to change this to y. So now it will return me false because it is not the same object. Okay, so that's why it is returning false. So this is how an is operator will work in Python. Okay, so what's the second one? Is not. So is not is just the actual vice versa of actual is operation. So now it returns true. It is actually the negation of the actual is operation. So this is how Python identity operators work. I hope you understood this clearly. Now let's move on to the last section of this video, like what is Python membership operator. So we have two types of membership operator here, like one is in and not in. So in is it will return true if a sequence with the specified value is present in an object. It returns true if a sequence with the specified value is not present in the object. So not in is actually the vice versa of the in operator. So if we look at the definition, membership operators are used to test if a sequence is present in an object. Okay, so now let's look at an example to have a clear understanding, right? So if you note, in means we will actually use this to actually verify if a value is actually present in the original object. All right, so let me write another example. Yeah, let me use this same example. We have x, y, and z, right? So here, let me check if actually value 3 is present in y or not. 3 is 3 in y. So here obviously 3 is present in y. So in this y, I have values 3 and 4, right? So here I'm putting 3 in y. So now it returns me true. So because 3 is actually present in y. If I put 4, obviously it will return me true. If I put value as 5, it will return me false because the actual value 5 is not present in y. Okay, so this is how you can actually verify. Maybe I'll show another example with x also. So yeah, obviously 5 is present in x, so it returns me a boolean value called true. So this is how you can use an in operator. N again, not in is again just a vice versa of the in operator. Phi not in x, so it will actually return the vice versa value, which is false. Okay, so you can see generally we use this in most of the areas in for loop. Okay, so for generally if you are someone who are good in Python programming, you definitely would have used for loop, right? So in for I in range n, so probably n will be the length or maybe some value, something like that. So if you look at this statement, we will be generally using this in statement mostly whenever you are working with for loop. So what it means is if the value, the iterator in the actual range, right? So if so now I'm switching back to the definition so that you will have a clear understanding of what it is. So it returns true if a sequence with the specified value is present in the object, right? So here in this situation, I will use this in operator to iterate each and every element in the range up to 10. Okay, so this is something where you will widely use in operator. I just wanted to show this as an example, but for now do not worry about it much. Okay, so I think yeah, that's pretty much what I want to cover as part of this video. So the Python logical operator, identity operator, and membership operator. These three are like very important topics, I would say, especially in membership. Sorry, especially in operators. These three would be very specific. Now, bitwise is something we see in next video, but these three are very commonly used across your day-to-day programming activity. So I would suggest you to learn these three operators very thoroughly so that you will have a whenever you are writing coding in Python, it will be very useful, and you can easily write the Python coding a little faster. So yeah, that's all what I want to cover as part of this video. In my next video, let me discuss about what is Python bitwise, and let's see all the examples describing each and every Python bitwise operator. Right? Okay, guys. So that's all what I want to cover. In case if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.